proceed on without him, and we'll try and get him back here again in the near future, because he is, in addition to one talented musician and guitarist and entertainer, he is also a lot of fun to talk to, and we enjoy having him on the show. His reputation as one of America's premium guitar players speaks for itself. He and his style have evolved into a charismatic blues rock sound, and he's a singer-songwriter of stylistic depth, his emotion and ability to connect with live audiences. And that's one of his strong points, his ability to connect with his audiences. This is something that a lot of artists don't understand when they're coming up, because, you know, your first thought is, hey, I get up there and I play my music. And then they project a little in the future and start putting a little emotion into it, putting on a show. And the key is connecting with the audience. If you can connect with the audience and get that feeling going back and forth like you do when you meet that special someone that the light comes on and you feel that something, well, you got to feel that with the audience. You've got to be able to turn it on and get with them on an emotional connection. When you can do that, then you own the audience, and then you've really, really got something special, don't you think, John?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I love the name of the song, I'm Funky But I'm Clean, and you know, it made me think to myself, I am funky sometimes, and occasionally I'm clean. Matter of fact, David, I just sniffed my armpits, and do you know what? I smell like the goat yet.
Oh, my God, there's an image you can't unsee.
Because I'm funky, but I'm clean, brother and sister.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, now that we've digressed way the heck past where we should have.
I'm glad you have me as your sidekick now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad
for the reservations there.
Well, hey, I'm glad you used deodorant, okay? But we were talking about Dan, the man, Dan Lawson. Now, Dan has had the honor and privilege to share the stage with some rock legends, including Mark Farner, John Mayall, Mark Mendoza of Twisted Sister. Getting a twisted tongue saying it. Also, Matt Guitar Murphy was formerly with the Blues Brothers. Mike Tunes and Tunis of the Beaver Brown Band. Chris Whipper Layton, and the Four Tops, Junior Walker's All-Stars, the Contours, Bad Company, Styx, REO Speedway, and I could go on and on with the artists that he's had the privilege of working with. And one of those artists is an artist that is sadly missing from our world today. We lost him not too long ago. As a matter of fact, his funeral was just this past weekend before we recorded this show. And, of course, you know I'm talking about Greg Allman. Now, many years ago, Dan Lawson was Greg's guitarist when Greg had his Greg and Friends project. And they worked together on that project and toured, and they talked about adding a song to the set list. The song was called Just Ain't Easy. And as the story goes, as I understand it, Greg didn't think that the song was one that the Allman Brothers Band followers would recognize and relate with. And as we just got through speaking, relating with your audience and connecting with them is very important. And if you don't think a song, if you don't think the song is going to connect with your audience, then it's best you use it as an album track, kind of a fill-in cut if you really want to get that song out there. But in this case, Dan said that he would love to record the song sometime. Now, sad note, Dan lost his son Nicholas to a drunk driver back in 2002. And as a result of that, he decided to do a dedication CD to his son Nicholas. And Greg, Mark Farner, and Gary Moore all stepped up, and they contributed songs to the project for Dan's son Nicholas. And one of the songs they contributed was this song, Just Ain't Easy, which was the Greg Allman song. And thus, Dan got to do the Greg Allman song that you're going to hear next. And the whole entire project, as a result of that, was named In the Nick of Time. Unfortunately,
sad story, but a great story.
Yes, unfortunately, Nicholas isn't able to be here, but along with Greg and so many others that we all have in our memories for various reasons, whether it's their music, personal relationships, or whatever. We send this out to each and every one of you, as the Righteous Brothers said, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because you know they got one hell of a band up there. And they just added another one in Greg Allman, who wrote this song for our guest who couldn't make it today, Dan Lawson of the Dan Lawson Band. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Just Ain't Easy. There you have it. Just Ain't Easy, written by Greg Allman and done for you by Dan Lawson as part of the tribute album to his late son, Nicholas, and the project being named In the Nick of Time. It's a CD. It's available for you. Check out Dan and all his music all over the internet. Google Dan Lawson Band. Check him out on Facebook, Reverb Nation, all the usual places. A great guy, an immense talent, and I think really underappreciated and not as well known as he should be, because he's done some great work with some of the bigs in the industry. Check him out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. That's Dan Lawson of the Dan Lawson Band, our friend, and unfortunately he wasn't able to connect with us today. We'll get him back in the future and see if he's got some new projects he's working on, some new music, and definitely good for some good old bluesy rock and roll. In the 3 minutes we have left, I want to remind you, right here on the David Bowers Awards, First Artists. You can find all of our previous Rockstar 101 tips on how to make it in the music business on Twitter, Facebook, or any service that uses hashtags. Just search hashtag Rockstar 101. It's as simple as that. You'll find a world of tips. We have a new one every day, 365 days of the year. So check it out. Some great tips on how to help advance your career in the music business. If you want to be considered as a guest on the show or just have your music played, all you have to do is drop a line to david@thedavidbowers.com and put guest in the subject line. If you want to send us a song for our review, we'll listen to it and we may play it on the air. You never know. And if you want to be a guest on the show, send us a link to your EPK. We want to thank our guest today, Dan Lawson, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it, and also all the way from merry old England, Wild Horse. Be sure to sign up and follow us right here on Blog Talk Radio, and we thank you, our listeners. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook to be sure you don't miss anything. Artists, remember, get in touch with us, send us your EPK, and we'll see about maybe getting you on the show. In the meantime, John Bon Jovial, take us home.
I'm on my way. The David Bowers Awards is broadcast around the world through the facilities of the studios at Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and we also come to you from the high desert in Phoenix, Arizona. We are available for free download on Blog Talk Radio, also on iTunes, 365 Internet Radio, Spreaker, and all those other silly little social media platforms. Click the follow link on Blog Talk Radio and be sure to like The David Bowers on Facebook, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and also on Facebook, Reverb Nation. You can find us also on the web. So just do a search for The David Bowers Awards. Be sure to join us next week for the David Bowers Awards, Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern on WRFZ 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio in Rochester, New York, and on Blog Talk Radio, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. Greenwich time for more great indie music and talk with the artists who make that music. So until next week, for the David Bowers, Nick the Geek, Hopalong Sarcassity, and all the other crew of idiots here at the Indie Ranch, this is John Bon Jovial saying, be good to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the David Bowers Awards.